This October, the Supreme Court is going to be hearing a case on religious invocations at city council meetings. And they haven't done anything like this in 30 years, so this is actually a big deal. It'll let us know whether or not we can have religious invocations at city council meetings, and maybe even beyond that. And here's the story of what happened. For years, the city of Greece, New York, they had a moment of silence, and then I think about 13, 14 years ago, they started doing a Christian prayer. They started having an invocation. And for like 10 years, for like 7 or 8 years, it was all Christian prayers all the time. And they would have local chaplains, priests come in and deliver this prayer. And then finally, two women said, you know what, you can't just have Christians praying. Like, you got to have some other options here. And they filed a lawsuit. And while the lawsuit was happening, the city had, I think 4 of the next 12 meetings had non-Christian invocation speakers. And then they went right back to Christian all the time. And basically, the initial court, the judge in the case said, those Christian prayers, totally fine. It's tradition. And so the 2 ladies, one of whom's name is Galloway, last name Galloway, her side filed an appeal. And the appeals court said, you totally can't just have Christian prayers all the time. And there's a few reasons for this. One is that it makes you think the government is endorsing Christianity. And that's not okay. And there's also some pressure, like some coercion, that everyone has to participate at a city council meeting. And so for a variety of reasons, it's not okay to just have Christian invocation prayers. At least as we know the law to be right now, you can usually get away with invocation prayers at a city council meeting or, a state government meeting or anything like that, as long as they are non-denominational. You could say, let's all pray to God that we have a good meeting, or just pray to God, period. But you can't say Jesus, you can't say Buddha, you can't say Allah, you can't name your God. Just have a non-denominational prayer, and that's been pretty much okay. And what was happening in Greece, they're not non-denominational. They are very sectarian, godly Christian prayers. So anyway, the appeals court said it's not okay. So Greece can't do that anymore. And so the town's side decided to go to the Supreme Court. They said, we want the Supreme Court to look at this. And usually the Supreme Court says no to everything. They're not going to listen to your case. They'll just let the lower court's decision stand. They took up this case. They said, we want to hear your arguments. And so now the question is it okay for Christians to deliver openly Christian prayers at government meetings? And that's a big question, because if the answer is yes, if the Supreme Court says the appeals court was wrong and it's totally fine to have these religious invocations, as long as everyone can do religious invocation prayers, what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing Christian prayers all across the country because they're in the majority. And almost every city council meeting will start having Christian prayers all across the country. That would be a disaster. It would make the government into just another church, really. So I definitely don't want to see that happen, and you never know how this court's going to act. So this is a big deal. 30 years ago was the last time they weighed in on this matter. It's a very different court now. So we're going to have to see how they're going to rule on this. But it's a big question, and I hope people pay attention to it when it comes up this fall. My name is Hemant Mehta. I write at friendlyatheist.com, and we hope to see your comments and discussion below.